Hello from University of Phoenix Stadium after a prime-time blowout. It's Rich Gray, Bob Kemp, here for NBC Sports Radio AM 1060. I think there's really no other way to describe what happened. Seahawks win 35-6, take control of the NFC West and the NFC home field advantage as well. And it was butt kicking.
It was, and there's no way, unless the Cardinals somehow win the division, right, that there's another home game here.
Yep.
So this is it. They're tearing it. I guess they're decided. The grounds crew here has decided that the Seahawks can't lose next week because they just are tearing up all the
Cardinals
stuff
signage
is gone as we speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Gone. So
they're not playing.
I guess they've kind of kissed it goodbye. But it was, certainly a competitive game, maybe. The score was close.
Yeah.
Until the dam broke in the fourth quarter, of course. And let's face it, Ryan Lindley's not an NFL quarterback. I don't know if he's a third-team quarterback. I don't know if he's a practice squad quarterback. But he didn't give him a chance to win. They didn't give him a chance to win either. The defense gave up the most yards the Cardinals have given up since 1958.
It was also a team record for the Seahawks.
That's correct. The Seattle Seahawks, an all-time team record. Russell Wilson threw for over 300 yards. And they did all that without their two best offensive linemen playing, two of their other offensive linemen barely playing, and Marshawn Lynch not playing in the first quarter because he was ill. So it was special teams were awful. The Cardinals, they have no margin for error, and their special teams, there were two plays in the second quarter specifically when things started to get a little out of control. Ted Ginn trying to return the kick. That was it was a return to the right. The kick was to the left, but he tried to get all the way to the right instead of just getting what you can. That put him in a hole, and then I thought Arians made a huge mistake deciding this is our time for the Logan Thomas package. I don't think that they planned on them being on the 7-yard line for the Logan Thomas package, and then he waited forever on the throw, so that was immediately 2nd and 10. Then they just completely screwed up in punt protection again. And it's really, they're fortunate that punt didn't get blocked by Richard Sherman as Jefferson let him go right by. And then once he got by him, he shoved him into the kicker, which was a short kick. And then that gave Seattle a short field. That made it 14-3. And that was pretty much it. But, it was just, I think, a disaster. And for all the people across the country that have been waiting for the Cardinals to fall apart and they're not that good, I would suggest you don't listen to any national shows or watch Sports Center, or you're going to have a lot of people doing the I told you so act.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defense, a lot of fundamental breakdowns for the team. A lot of, they got burned by another tight end. Luke Wilson had himself a great game. They couldn't tackle Marshawn Lynch. And Russell Wilson, anything up the middle, if he wanted to scramble, was there for him pretty much all night long.
That's true. They obviously tackled poorly. The tight end thing. Todd Bowles has done an absolute fantastic job, obviously, since he's been here. But this 2-year tight end issue, Luke Wilson, he's not Jimmy Graham. They have guys that just, the clown in Atlanta caught a touchdown pass against him. If the guy plays tight end, he gets yards or touchdowns against the Cardinals. And tonight they got caught in a blitz for the long touchdown. And also, I'm not exactly sure what Buchanan did wrong on that play, but he did something wrong on that play because they were all over him for about 5 minutes after that on the bench. And Johnson, that was not a good job of tackling there. And Johnson and Peterson were the victims of the Lynch long touchdown run also. So and Cromartie had his worst game by far as a Cardinal. So there's 4 defensive backs right there. And one of the big Russell Wilson scrambles, Matthew had him dead to rights and completely whiffed on the tackle, would have been a sack. So they got to make plays. There's no more margin for error, and they had errors everywhere.
You mentioned the margin for errors also on the offense. They got into the red zone a couple times tonight. It was very few, but they couldn't punch it in.
That's true. And obviously this team, anytime you get close, you got to score touchdowns. And 1st and goal when there's a false start, which results in a field goal, and it was just a disaster.
So, what should we be looking forward to tomorrow?
I got a couple more things.
You got a few more things. You're not done yet.
They're turning the lights off on me. I'm not done yet.
They did turn off the lights at halftime. They probably should have kept the lights off.
That's a good point. I didn't. I saw the smoke, and I hastened to the background at that point. But I'm not done yet. I don't care if they're going to turn the lights off on me or not.
All right.
A couple of things, in addition to what we've talked about, is the Seahawks. I went to the Seahawks post game. They seem to think that the Cardinals offense had problems with the Seahawks crowd noise here. And that had something to do with the false start that we talked about, and a couple of times where they couldn't get their play, they had to call a couple timeouts. And the Seahawks wanted to make sure that they thank their fans for causing crowd noise in the opponent's stadium. And also Richard Sherman, not surprisingly, was had bleeding cheers across the way here.
Yeah.
And then after the game, he did like a victory lap on the Cardinals field, which I'm not blaming him for that.
Right,
I know I'd be doing that too if I were
He's
him.
practicing for February.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Well, there were lots of Seahawks fans here. I was actually very surprised how many Seahawks fans there were, which means Cardinals fans sold their seats, which is disgusting at a different level. But yeah, he did like a mini victory lap around about half the stadium, stopped and took some pictures and signed some autographs and so forth. But I don't blame him. I mean, he's good, and they did catch one pass against him, but it was just a disaster. I wish I could. And anybody that wants, well, they made the playoffs. Well, great. That's nice that they made the playoffs, but they had an opportunity to do something here tonight, even with Lindley at quarterback, and they just screwed it up every way possible.
Yeah, so I mean, again, there is that outside chance that if the Seahawks lose next week, they can still win the division.
The Rams do play them tough, but I watched the first half of the Rams game today, and they looked like they checked it in.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants at home.
Yeah, and they were really came close to stopping them. So it was like I said, I watched the first half, and it was other than the fact that there were some interesting fights and ejections in the first half of that game, that was just ridiculous.
So, are you good?
Okay, I'm kind of done, yeah.
Okay, you want to save some for the show tomorrow?
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, we got 6 segments.
Okay.
I think 6. We got the Cardinals, Seahawks, 9:15. You can count along here. Everybody count along with me here. 9:15, 10:05, 10:45, 11:05, 11:15. And then we'll take some calls.
Okay, 6.
So I like, okay.
There you go.
Many segments about this.
I'm sure you asked Jason Cole too, right?
Oh, that's right, Jason Cole.
So there you go,
on.
7 maybe.
Okay, we'll ask Jason Cole about Stanford.
Yeah, probably not more of this. All right, so for Bob Kemp, I'm Rich Gray. Once again, for more Cardinals coverage, keep tuning to NBCSports1060.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow.